Welcome, everyone, to It Tastes Different Gaming Podcast, the podcast with four different flavors coming from four different gamers. I'm your host, Russell Rowe, and I want to welcome my co-host, Shane Eisterhold, Patrick Smith, and Nick Irwin.
Hey, Patrick, where can they find us?
Well, the first place you should check out is our website at ittastes.different.com. This is the place where you can subscribe to all of our streams and connect to all of our social media sites. You can also find us on Facebook at It Tastes Different. We're also on Instagram at It Tastes Different PC. And then last but not least is Twitter, where you can find us at It Tastes Diff.
What's on the menu tonight? Hamburger Helper. Why? Because Hamburger Helper helps your hamburger helper make a great meal. So tonight we're going to be talking about Call of Duty Black Ops. The publisher for this game is Activision. The developers are Treyarch, Raven Software, and Beanox. It is available on PS4, Xbox One, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, and the Series S, along with Microsoft Windows. So we're going to talk about this game today. I'm really excited about it. And so let's start off with Shane today. Shane, what's your review?
Well, first of all, I'd like to say that was a lovely intro. You flashed back my childhood. But as the game goes, it flashed back my childhood as well. It's the same game. It's the same Call of Duty, set in different time period. But this one here, I think, is a little more accessible. The story was probably one of the better ones. Definitely better than the last several Call of Duties. I really enjoyed the story overall. It's still a little, straight up Call of Duty, but they were doing some interesting things with it. As far as side objectives you can do by making the right decisions. That was a really nice touch. The controls are Call of Duty. I'm really thankful they got rid of all the wall running and jumping and spinny futuristic crap. I thought it was garbage. Never did like that. And I think that's why this one is more accessible, because it makes it a little more user friendly without all the extra blah, blah, blah. Multiplayer is Call of Duty. I don't think they'll ever change the formula because people still buy it. I did. But I do like the multiplayer in this one better than, well, any of them probably since the Modern Warfare days. I do pretty well most of the time. There are still those people out there that just straight up violate newbies. And I'm definitely one of those still. I think the biggest problem I will say about the game is it is very glitchy. I've heard about it on the PS5, PS4, but the Series X, you got to turn off your ray tracing on a bunch of the missions just to get it to not crash your system. That was just severely annoying and just should have never been allowed to be put out with that kind of a glitch. That really just chapped my butt. Overall, the game is Call of Duty. It's good game, better than this last several, but it's still Call of Duty. It's just somewhat better than the previous versions. I would buy it again. But I would probably get it at $40 instead of the full price. Especially when the full price for the Series X is $70 freaking dollars, and you have those issues. That's just bull crap. But I paid for it. I enjoyed it. For the overall, the technical issues of the game is the biggest problem I've got with it. But let's go to Pat and see what he thinks, because these aren't typically his kind of games.
Yeah, I'll agree. These aren't typically my type of games. I will say that I have played each of the modes. I played the campaign, I played the multiplayer, I played the zombies. And the multiplayer is just not usually for me, just because I am not very good at these games. I mean, I can hold my own after I play them for a while. I just don't have that much time to put in them. But I get to the point to where I just get frustrated by getting killed all the time and not being able to try out the stuff. But the zombies was pretty fun. The campaign was fun. The campaign was a little frustrating for me because I didn't understand how the side quests work, or the side missions, I should say. Side quests. The side missions in this game were just a little bit uh, not easy to understand. I thought, okay, I have to do the side missions to find the intel within the missions to like unlock the disc and stuff, and I misread it wrong, and you have to do all the other quests to find the intel to unlock the disc before you do the side missions, because if not, you screw up the side missions. So I ended up doing the side missions as soon as they popped up, and that was wrong because I didn't have any of the intel, and I failed them. And so I didn't finish the campaign. I got like halfway through and got fed up. I got annoyed with what I had done, so I started over and never finished it yet. So, but I would say Zombies is fun. One of the things that kind of surprises me is that all the DLCs that these guys are going to come out with for like the zombies and even more modes is going to be free. Doesn't sound like they're trying to profit too much off of this. And I don't know about you guys, but the store didn't seem to have a whole lot of stuff in it that was just screaming, "Take my money." I kind of browsed through it and didn't see a whole lot that I was like, "Oh, I just got to buy this."
Yeah, I agree with that, definitely.
So it seems like they've toned that down a little bit, which is surprising for this one. But maybe that's just because it's new and they're going to give it like 6 months or something before they say, "Hey, here's a whole slew of crap. Buy it. Buy my crap." So I liked it. Me and Shane played quite a few games versus bots, which is kind of fun. I like doing the bot style stuff more than anything, but we ran into all kinds of bugs. I mean, the ray tracing bug is a huge issue for me because that's the whole point of paying the $70 price tag. And guess what? It's busted. So that's super annoying for me. In my opinion, it's not a $60 or $70 game. It's one of those $30 on sale games for me. But Nick, what do you think?
Yeah, I would agree. You pretty much do have to, I mean, like Shane said, you do have to turn off the ray tracing for some of the missions. I just found that just turning it off altogether is better off, because you just don't know when the game's going to just freeze up and crash on you. So you might as well just turn it off altogether. This one is Cold War. I don't think we mentioned that, but if we're talking about the newer systems and stuff, I'm pretty sure people kind of got the point of this being the Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. The single player story campaign was okay. I don't know if I would put it as one of the better campaign stories or anything like that. It was okay. It was it's kind of got a little bit of a twist at the end, but it's just like, okay, yeah, that's fine, whatever. I don't really care. The campaign was just okay. The multiplayer, again, I think for me is just okay. It's very back to the original Call of Duty multiplayer in a sense, as far as how kill streaks and things of that nature go. Like Shane said, there's no wall running or crazy Black Ops stuff that Black Ops have had. The crazy like robots and various other things that the Black Ops series typically has in them. The kind of futuristic military type of stuff that Black Ops, or like secret weapons and stuff like that. And this game really doesn't have it. It doesn't have really any of that stuff. It's really pretty much all the kill streaks during multiplayer are pretty much your average, attack choppers and RC cars and stuff like that. And that's stuff we've seen forever now in Call of Duty. So, the multiplayer is okay. They don't have a lot of maps. I think 6 or 7 maps total. I think they had 6 when they first came out, and then they just released Nuketown, which is a newer version of Nuketown, which that's a frag fest of a map. So it looks different, but it's pretty much the same Nuketown that we've always seen. It's just redesigned. So they don't have a lot of maps to choose from. They do have a lot of modes. They have a ton of different modes, though. I think it's all the normal modes we typically see. I don't think there's anything different than most Call of Duties have in them, but that's good that they have a lot of modes to choose from, and especially versus bots and stuff, which is nice. The zombie mode it's fun. It's fun to get with friends and play through the zombie mode. It's not any different than we've experienced in other zombie modes and stuff. So it's not like you are playing a different map and there are different scenarios and stuff like that. But if you played one zombie mode, you pretty much played them all. It's pretty much the same as we've experienced. But that mode is fun in general, regardless of what they do with it. It's just a fun co-op experience to have. So nothing wrong with that. And then they have the Dead Ops, which is the top-down view, which some of the other Black Ops games have had, which is again, another fun little mini game to play. So, these things are all pretty fun. And then, of course, you can access Warzone, which is the last Call of Duty had as well. And it's the same war zone. It's the same game, but you can access it through the menu in Black Ops Cold War. So, yeah, I mean, my general impression is this game's okay. It's definitely not worth the $70 for the Series X or PlayStation 5 version. It's not anything spectacular as far as some Call of Duty games have been in the past. This one's pretty laid back compared to those. So, if you're I guess if you're really a big fan of Call of Duty, you probably already own this game. But if you're kind of reserved and wondering if you should pick it up or not, definitely pick it up if it's on sale at a super cheap price. And you'll probably have a lot of fun with it through the campaign and multiplayer. But otherwise, $70, I don't think it was worth that price. But that's my take on it. Russ, what did you think of Black Ops Cold War?
Like the game, it feels like a pretty solid flashback of days gone by of COD. They had that little futuristic portion where they did that. This kind of goes back to some of the classic portions of what made Call of Duty successful. I'm probably going to be a little surprising with my review because I know the guys are expecting me to like yell and curse and hate and pull out the holy vial and splash water on it and everything like that. But really, I know what the game is. I've always known what the game is, and I've never been a huge fan of PvP on the console. We bought it on the console, playing it on the console, so be it. So I do find myself when we PvP a little frustrated because it's just I'm more of a mouse and keyboard guy when it comes down to it. But it was still enjoyable enough with the guys to say, okay, this is the same game. And I also did a little bit of side research. I got a couple of guys at work, a couple of people I know that they love the COD games, and they are actually very impressed with the PvP. The ray tracing obviously is a problem that they all talked about, but they said like the fluidity of the PvP, it feels a lot better in this version or this edition of COD. So they're very happy with that. I was actually pretty happy with that too, but I kind of get to a point where my eyes kind of cross, and so I have to actually stop playing. So like I'll do pretty good in the first, 4 to 6 matches, and then after that, it's like I'm getting stabbed in the neck. I'm getting, shot by a piece of glass that's breaking. I mean, I die everywhere you can figure it. I blow myself up. I mean, it's fantastic. I wish everybody could see that sometimes, but for the single player version of it, I enjoyed it enough. I played the first 3 or 4 missions or so. I've been addicted to another game, so for the review, I played enough to really kind of get a good feel of it. This one, I would say the campaign is a little bit more it's a little bit more involved than one's previous. Usually, it's just go in, kill, save a guy, or something like that. This has a little bit more to it, so that's kind of more exciting, a little bit more story. I enjoy the Cold War factor. I love the 80s. One of my favorite things is seeing Reagan on there. I mean, it's just, not that I'm this huge Reagan fan, but it's just like, I don't know, it was just a lot of fun to kind of see that and kind of bring that back. Hence the reason for the Hamburger Helper. Part of this is that it kind of brings us back to something that we've always used to having. I want to agree with pretty much everybody's thing. If you are a COD fan, I would expect you to pay the $60 to $70 for the game. If you're not a COD fan and you're like, well, I need a new first shooter, or wait for it to go on sale, you'll get your money's worth that way. And that's really where that price point should be for those of us of different, like those that love COD and those that do not. So anyway, that's how I feel about it. I kind of open the floor now for a little bit more comments upon a few things that we've said, but it's not a terrible game. It's not a game of the year for sure, but it's definitely, I mean, it's like, it's like going back for seconds or thirds or 27ths on something you enjoy eating, not something necessarily you love, but you can pretty much guarantee that you're going to get a pretty fairly decent solid game out of a COD game.
I would agree. Yeah, and the ray tracing thing is my biggest complaint because we paid $70 for the functions and features of that, and we can't even use it because the game crashes. I mean, Shane, you and I played 2-3 hours on Sunday and had to keep just disabling it because it was just doing weird stuff and crashing back to the. So I mean, it's just annoying.
Yeah,
Um,
it's really sad too because they were so damn adamant about the price point for the next gen consoles, I guess current gen now, that they said, oh, we got to charge you $10 more, and okay, so I understand to a point. We take, we pay for it, and then what happens? The very functions that are, requiring that extra $10 don't freaking work.
yeah, that's
Activision should be dropping some
I need
free
my $10
stuff,
back.
or
Yeah, I need my $10
yeah, give
back.
me my $10. I was
Um,
really surprised though that Nick, you didn't like it as much as I did. Even though I'm not, hooting and hollering about it, I'm kind of surprised. Pat, your review was a little better than I was expecting. And Russ, yours was about what I was thinking. I was a little surprised about the positivity you gave it the online. But
I mean, we have a huge audience of people that love PvP. I mean, they love it. They can't get enough. Fortnite, Modern Warfare, all those games. I mean, when it comes to those games, this game here is one of the more balanced games, at least that we've played. Obviously, if you have upgrades and stuff like that, and as you get through, you'll become a little bit stronger. But I still didn't feel so weak that I couldn't kill anybody just starting off at level 1 or 2. So, I mean, that's balance within these games are very difficult. Now we all have those guys who are like, I mean, they work for 5, 6, 7 hours a day, and or maybe they even just like work like 3 days out of a week, and then the next 4 days from morning to night to noon to every time, that's all they're doing is playing this game that come up and knife you in your back when you're like, is somebody coming behind me? And the next you know you're dead. I mean, there's going to be those guys,
oh
and
yeah,
more power to them. Those that enjoy doing that, that's not me. So I may cuss, curse, anger, and all that stuff within that, but I understand they just play the game a lot more than I do. I mean, they do. They're better at it than I am. But there should be that one. I've said it before, like whenever we go golfing, there's always one shot that I make that brings me back to the golf course the next time. And that's all I'm asking for a game like this is just give me that one golf shot that I'll come back and I'll play another game. And COD is there. I mean, it's enough that if you guys got on and say, hey, let's play some COD, I probably would. But again, this is not something I'm going to play on off time.
right.
yeah.
I will say the campaign was interesting. Like having the side missions where you can find all the intel and stuff was a cool, interesting concept. It's just I wish I would have understood it before I actually just started blindly going into all the missions. Because as soon as the side missions came up, I jumped right in them, and I'm like, why can't I decrypt this disk? And I was like, oh, I screwed up and didn't find all the intel before I ran the side mission. So
Yep.
that was frustrating. So I started over because there's nothing you can do once you do that. So. But yeah, I mean, and then the zombie mode was fun. The zombie mode is freaking hard. I mean, we played it and tried it.
Oh
We
yeah.
haven't got extracted once, and we only played like what 3 or 4 times on the zombie mode, something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, we've called the helicopter twice, but not been able to get on it.
It's a very chess kind of thing. You got to make the right moves at the right times. You gotta work together, figure out who's opening what, who's buying what. Because if you go blowing all your money on freaking weapons, ain't gonna do no good if you can't open a damn door.
Right, and then
Uh,
the good thing about the multiplayer is the bots. You can throw in a us versus
Mhm.
bots match, which is fun enough because me and Shane pumped up like Nuketown and put the points way up there and put the points per kill way down so that we could get a lot of money and just kill a bunch of bots for fun.
and it was fun because a lot of those things I do pretty well online, but I'm not gonna. There's no way I'm gonna get some of those streaks that allow me to bring in the C-130 gunship, online.
Right.
No way. But
Right,
it
but in
is
bots-
fun as hell when
But
you
in
can.
bots,
Though.
yeah, in bots you could easily do it. I mean,
Oh
it's
yeah.
easy to mow down a column of bots.
Yep.
So
Yep. It was definitely, if I was to rank it in Call of Duties, I would put it up there closer to Black Ops, the first one, which was probably the last one I raved anything about. It's not as good, but it's close to that one, in my opinion. But that was the last one I truly enjoyed. I mean, as far as online and offline.
Gotcha. Yeah, like I said, it's interesting enough, and I'm sure we'll play more of it. I mean, when we get to those spots where we don't have anything to play cooperatively, we'll probably all play together. We'll be like, hey, you guys want to get online and run a couple of maps on Call of Duty or something? And we'll do it until somebody gets, until we become, what ends up happening is you run into that one map that has that guy that has no life, that he just runs around the whole map knifing everybody, and you're just like, I don't like this guy.
Yep.
And so you lose interest in playing for a while, and then we'll come back. So.
I mean, it'll turn into our siege is what it'll turn into for a period of time. I mean, we kind of go through phases with each little like game that's similar to that we can either add bots or do some mild PvP with, and it's I mean I'm not deleting it completely immediately, so that's a pretty good sign. So it's not terrible. It's not a terrible game for sure. It's for us as a whole, I think it's a sell game for us moving forward. But it's the PvP is pretty well balanced and put together.
Yeah, I would agree. I think the PvP on it is more, like I said previously, it's more accessible. It just doesn't feel like when we went in there and first started playing it. I hadn't played Call of Duty online in forever. And I didn't get destroyed. It's not that I'm not good. It's just it wasn't overcomplicated. It was slightly strategic, slightly luck, slightly, just get in there and play. And it was surprising that I enjoyed the multiplayer as much as I did, because I was expecting another, every other Call of Duty where it's just destroyed. Like you were saying about the knives in the back, that's, oh my God, I hate being killed from behind every time. But this one isn't as bad about that. I really have to say, I enjoy when Treyarch makes the Call of Duties more than, God, who is it? Nick Sledgehammer? Or
there's 3 studios that make them.
It's not Sledgehammer. Who's the other one that does the big one?
Raven, Treyarch, and Sledgehammer, all 3 do.
Okay, I think it's Sledgehammer that I'm thinking of. But, I really enjoyed it. For the overall, I'm ticked off as crap about the $70 price, and I'm only getting the $60 game because I have to turn off the options that are breaking it. That's my biggest issue. I think it is definitely that $40 game. It really, no more. Even for the Series X PS5 version.
Right. Yep. I want my $10 back.
Yep. I want cash, no gift cards. I want straight cash. Be waiting by the mailbox.
Yep. I'm surprised I haven't seen anything on it though, of them saying, okay, we'll give everybody like freaking, I don't know, Call of Duty bucks or whatever they're calling them this time around.
Yeah, it is surprising. Everybody's complaining about it, but I don't think I've seen a statement by Activision.
Right. Yeah, that's just what people have said. This fixes it. And I mean, it has. As soon as you disable it, I've not been crashing back to the dashboard. So, well, cool. I mean, not a hate game, not a love game, but kind of one of those middle of the roads. And I agree with Russ. This will be one of our Siege replacement games. So instead
jump in and goof off.
Yeah, instead of us loading at Rainbow Six Siege, we'll end up probably doing this one instead until something else similar comes out.
Yeah, I mean, the only other thing that I could add is that the nice thing about it, it's a nice thing, but it's also kind of a frustration. Number one, you can't really build up levels unless you're PvPing, or it's really difficult to do that if you don't. There are a lot of options for mods to your guns. That is actually kind of nice. It's not too much different than versions of other games, but once you understand the path, it's quite helpful when you go to put your muzzles on, or your magazines, your stocks, those things like that. It really helps to do that. So I would say that is a little bit different than some games prior to. I mean, it seems like they all try to vary the accessories for your weapons on how to get it. This one, I did not see. Is there microtransactions on this one? Is it just, if they do, it's just like cosmetics, right?
Yeah, I believe any of those that are at least right now. I think the only DLC or whatnot is just crap like
Yeah,
that.
so
Nothing
it's
that's
like
giving you an advantage.
yeah, exactly. So that's always a bonus. That's always kind of a plus in our book as a whole. So that's good. I mean, that's something good to say about the game as well.
Yeah. Me and Nick, we played the multiplayer quite a bit. I mean, I think we're up in the 30s right now, and we did pretty well. And we haven't played. We prefer Battlefield online more than Call of Duty. But I think that's just because I like to fly.
Well, cool. I think that's about probably all we got on this one, then, don't we?
Yeah, that's about it,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, that's about as long as the campaign is. Same as the review.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I don't have anything else to say. Nick, how about you? You got anything extra to add on this one?
No, not really.
Okay. Well, we appreciate everybody listening in this episode and hope to catch you in the next one.